Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to The Nest. It's July 16, 2020, and we are streaming live with participants from Bangladesh, the rest of Asia, North America, and Europe. For those of you joining for the first time, I'm Jim Chu in Sonoma County, California, and the goal here on The Nest is to connect entrepreneurs and frontier markets with angel investors from around the world. We stream every Thursday, and all episodes are recorded and available on our website, findthenest.org. Today, I am pleased to be partnering with Bangladesh Angels to host this session featuring two exciting companies from Bangladesh. And for that, I'm going to pass you over to Najor, who's going to introduce some important folks from Bangladesh Angels and get on with our show. Najor?
Excellent. Thank you guys so much. Good to see everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces. I think we've got people and affiliates from Chicago, I think New York, London, Dubai, obviously Bangladesh and elsewhere. So thank you all for joining. So my name is Nirjhor. I'm the CEO of Bangladesh Angels Network. We're the first and largest angel affiliate in the country. And we're quite proud that we're doing this with Nest, and a couple of our kind of partners and board members are going to be on the panel today. Just to give a little bit overview of what we do, I'd like to kind of hand it over to Minhaz Anwar, founding director of Bangladesh Angels and CEO of Better Stories Asia. Minhaz bhai, please.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen. It's a real pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much, all the panelists and the Nest, for being here and organizing this. I'll be short. I think for me, what really matters is the resilience and resilience of three, I think, distinct group of people that I have the privilege of working with. First of all, the startups. I think the two startups that we're going to showcase today will definitely demonstrate, what they're doing through COVID and how, that actually matters for our continuity and their continuity, and also shows, how businesses indeed take the society forward. The second group of people that we, of course, have this showcasing for are the angels. And I'm very happy to share with you that we got real momentum happening here. Over the last 6 weeks, we have closed 2 deals and 1 more in the pipeline. Fantastic, and congratulations to all involved. It's real hard work that's kind of coming to realization. And of course, we have expanded our network to new members in UK, US, and Singapore. So welcome on board, and I'm looking forward to get more members on board in the process. And I think finally, the third piece is the ecosystems. I think today, it's not just Bangladesh, but across the world, a lot of people from, many different ecosystems are here. We're collaborating with the Nest, and this is just the beginning. I'm sure there will be many more of this coming together, and people investing from around the world in startups from around the world will take us out of this crisis. So with that, optimism, and by thanking all the distinguished panelists, Mr. Joel Michel, if I have pronounced your name right, and Zaved Akhtar Bhai, and Jim, and the 2 startups. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm really looking forward to the 2 startups presenting, and really great work, team, and led by Nirjhor. Thank you so much, Nirjhor.
No, thank you as well, Bhaiya. And just wanted to also welcome Padmaja from Indian Angels as part of the panelists. She's been a huge mentor to us too.
I'm sorry, I missed you, Padmaja. We have been hearing so much, and thank you so much for all the partnership and friendship. I think we have a real deep knowledge partnership there. We are indebted to your presence and also to your support. Thank you so much, Padmaja, and welcome.
Thank you very much, and delighted to be here. I'm sure we will be able to grow this much more, and look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you both for joining, and thank you, Bangladesh Angels, for being here with us on The Nest. Thank you very much. So with that, I would like to introduce some of the angels for this week.
Yeah, so Zaved Bhai has been a part of BD Angels since last year. We worked on several kind of initiatives and deals together, and most proudly, we've been able to invest in one company in the past month or so. So that's quite exciting. But Zabit Bhai, I'd like to kind of give the floor to you and let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Nijor. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. And great to see some familiar faces and friends here. So I have been working in the CPG industry for nearly more than 2 decades now. And I've worked extensively across Asia. So my experience has been on the D&E market. And over the last few years, I've been looking after digital transformation for Unilever South Asia. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much, Shuttle, and thank you so much for being on the panel. The next person I'd like to introduce is Padmaja from Indian Angels Network. So she's the co-founder and the CEO. She's been an incredible mentor and guidance, source of guidance for us as we've looked to build our own kind of the first angel network in Bangladesh.
Thank you. I think, first of all, thank you for having me join this, both to Bangladesh Angels. Jim, I've heard about Nest. I've not many times, but I've not had the opportunity. So thank you for having me. And this will be my first experience and look forward to that. As we build the global ecosystem, I think initiatives such as this are very, very important because we are all investing in very high risk ventures. And therefore, to help companies and risk mitigate our own investments, it's extremely important that we are not geography specific, but really geography leveraged, so that we can really build companies which are really going global. And in today's world of social distancing, it becomes even more important. So I really look forward to Bangladesh growing. And Jim, I hope to engage much more deeply with Nest. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Padmaja. I'll leave it to the Nest team to introduce Joe.
It's a pleasure to connect with all of you. Jim, thank you for having me once again. I've spent the last decade or so in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, having worked with some of the brands that you guys have probably heard of, namely the Hyperloop, Uber's Flying Taxis, Archeron, which is an AI company in the UAE and India, Skyway, which is a future of transportation out of Belarusia, and some work in the food tech space with a company called Kind Earth, which is focusing on the future of food production in a sustainable way, food consumption in a healthy way, and an overall healthy lifestyle. So happy to be here again. I would like to assist in any way the founders who are going to be pitching today, and please do feel free to reach out even after.
Nice to meet you, everyone. My name is Max. I'm French, as you can hear, and I am managing the Nest with Jim. So since Jim is suffering from a poor internet connection, I'm going to replace him on a few introduction to a few technical details before we introduce the two companies and the rules of the pitch for the companies to start. So just one small thing, since we are 123 today, everyone, just would like to remind you to stay on mute during the whole pitch session. Only the angels would speak, only selected people of the audience. Feel free to interact in the chat box, ask your question, present yourself. It's really there to be interactive, to network. We're not in the same room together, we're in the same meeting room virtually, and really use the chat box. And finally, a small detail, you can adapt what you want to see as the video on the side of the Zoom bar. If you want to see only the one speaking, there's a small one that you can click on. We will only show the one who's speaking. So now let us go to the pitches. So we are very happy to have two companies today, Shuttle and bhalo. Shuttle with a female-centric shuttle service, and bhalo with a digital marketplace for smallholder farmers. Just to remind you the rules of the pitch, each company will have only 5 minutes to pitch, no more than 5 minutes. Ayano will be counting the time, so please keep to it. And after that, there will be a Q&A session from the angels and also from the audience. So the audience is welcome to post questions on the chat box. After 10 to 15 minutes of questions, we will spend 5-10 minutes discussing more the investment, if angels are interested or people in the audience as well, to discuss more the terms of a potential investment in the company. So now the floor is to the entrepreneurs, and I think we are starting with the Shuttle.
Great. So I will be timing. So please go ahead, the team Shuttle.
Hi, I'm Riyasat, co-founder and CEO of Shuttle, and we provide safe and affordable transportation for women. So a study done by the development organization BRAC shows that 94% women commuting in public transport in Bangladesh have experienced physical, verbal, or some other forms of sexual harassment. At Shuttle, we are trying to solve this problem. Shuttle is a mass transit startup that provides safe transportation at an affordable fare by moving more people with fewer vehicles with the help of technology. We primarily focus on solving the transportation problem for women in Bangladesh. So for decades, we've all been talking about women empowerment and women engagement. But the sad part is, in Bangladesh, women still do not feel safe commuting alone. And that is something we are trying to change. Our goal is to ensure that each and every woman in Bangladesh has the freedom to commute wherever and whenever they want to. We provide the service in minivans where 10 to 11 women can commute together by paying less than 1/4 of our cars. The basic usage of technology is similar to ride-sharing services. However, using data, we project demand and design the most efficient routes possible for our customers. This is just an overview of our journey so far. In the last 25 months, we have generated more than $500,000 revenue. We have received more than 1 million bookings. We are currently operating on 10 routes, and we have more than 20,000 registered users. We consider revenue as our North Star metric, and it has been increasing exponentially since the beginning. And since Jan 2019, our monthly compounded revenue growth is 17.5%. These are some of the reviews that we have received from our customers. As you can see, for our core TG, we are a revolution. And you can see hundreds of reviews like these ones on our Facebook page, where we have a rating of 4.6. So currently, most of our users are university-going students. However, a lot of office goers are also using our service, and the number is only increasing every month. So if we consider our primary target market, which is female students and office goers within the age group of 15 to 44 in the urban areas of Bangladesh, we have a total addressable market of $2.5 billion. So just to give you an idea of where we stand in terms of price, the fare of Shuttle is less than 1/4 of Uber cars and less than half of ride-sharing bikes. These are some of the things that we plan on doing in the next few years. As you can see, our immediate plan is to cover the entire Dhaka city, and then to expand to other cities in Bangladesh, and finally to other developing countries which have a similar problem. We're also working on establishing a driving school for women so that we can teach women how to drive and then employ them at Shuttle. So initially we started as a B2C company. However, last year we got an opportunity to work with one of the biggest multinational companies in Bangladesh. And that has helped us to identify a lot of opportunities in the B2B market. So going forward, we plan on catering to both B2B and B2C customers. So how has COVID-19 affected our business? You'll be glad to know that since March 2020, our monthly revenue has increased by 250%. And within the same period, we've been able to reduce our operating costs by 60%. And by combining these two, we are currently operating profitably. And we've been able to do this by providing sanitized transportation solutions to people who are having to go to office during the lockdown. So the core team of Shuttle has previous experiences of establishing and running successful businesses. And the best part is all three of us have been working together at Shuttle for more than 27 months full time, which has given us a lot of insight and knowledge about the industry, which will be extremely crucial for our success in this business. So even though we started out as a company only for women, Our ultimate goal is to redefine public transportation for mass people in developing countries by doing for buses what Uber did for taxis. So to continue our growth, we are looking for an investment of $600,000 for the next 15 months. With this money, we plan on generating 800,000 additional revenue by onboarding 50,000 new users and launching 30 new routes. And for Nest Angels, we invite them to invest $100,000 to contribute in our mission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for this speech. Now the floor is for the angels to ask questions, and the audience as well to ask questions in the chat box.
Quick question. The vehicle that you guys have, what's the seating capacity?
So currently the vehicles that we use have are all 11 seaters, but we do plan on exploring other with other capacity levels.
Okay, and do you guys operate even if there's one person?
Yeah, so our trips are all scheduled, and we have fixed routes. So even if there is just one person, the trip will start on time.
Got it. And when, how much is your minimum capacity to cover the cost for each round?
For a month, for a particular vehicle, our variable cost for a particular vehicle is around $1,500, and we reach break-even point when we operate at 56% capacity utilization level.
Got it. Got it. Okay, and you plan on sticking to an all women-only model?
No. So our initial product was only for women, and this product will remain the same for sure. But we do plan on, launching new products as well. For example, we have more than 30,000 sign-up data for male users. So in the future, after the pandemic, we do plan on launching a unisex product as well.
Got it. Got it. I think
and
it's
also for our B2B market, we actually provide according to the requirement of the organizations.
Fantastic. I think it's a great initiative. I was alarmed by the 90+% traffics that you sort of mentioned earlier. In the future, do you guys sort of look into expanding into cutting the cost by, I don't know, switching into electric vehicles or maybe other forms? Is that part of the plan, or?
Yeah, exactly. Not? Yeah, I mean that is something we're exploring, and that is we according to our analysis, that significantly reduces our cost. Not only electric vehicles, but having bigger vehicles with bigger with more capacity, and also having having vehicles that are probably not rented. So so we are exploring different models. But right now, all of the vehicles that we are that are operating at Shuttle, they are all rented. But in the future, there are 4 or 5 models that we are exploring at the moment, and all those models significantly reduces our cost. It's just we'll try and find the perfect balance between them.
Oh, great, thank you. Over to you.
Thanks, Red. Yes, a very good initiative, very interesting. Tell me one question. What made 3 men start a venture about this on this one, which is about transporting women safely?
Yeah. So what was the question? Sorry.
I was asking. I realized that there are 3 entrepreneurs and all of them are men, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what triggered 3 men to start this initiative?
Oh, okay. So to be honest, all 3 of us grew up in Bangladesh, and we have we have experienced firsthand the problems in public transportation in Bangladesh. In fact, since my childhood, I always tried to avoid public transportation as much as possible because of all the hassle and inconveniences. And then the problem is more severe for women. Even when my sister used to go somewhere alone, I had to accompany her just because she did not feel safe, and my mother and my parents were not safe, were not okay allowing her to commute alone. So these are the problems that women and also men face in Bangladesh. There is no structure, there's no automation in public transportation system. So when I was in university, I used to have regular discussions with my friends on how we can start something that will have positive impact on the society and will also have a financially sustainable and scalable. So during one of the discussion, one of my partners, Jawad, he actually suggested that his concerns about the public transportation system in Bangladesh, because at that time he was commuting to his work by public transportation, and it was a nightmare for him. So that was actually the start of our journey. And then none of us could code. So we partnered with Sufyan, who used to be my brother's partner in another company at that time. So that's how we actually formed the team. It doesn't have anything to do with the gender. So, and then you'll be glad to know that right now more than 50% of our employees are women.
Oh, wonderful! That's a wonderful thing. Tell me, how will you differentiate yourself from any of the ride sharing? Any of the ride sharing can come and match you guys, correct?
Yeah. So the first thing is our shuttle service is completely actually different from ride sharing services. They can definitely launch shuttle service, but that will be a completely different product. They will need a completely different strategy, different team to run this business. So that is one thing. And the second thing is that actually Uber Pool started in Bangladesh last year, but still their price was more than double of what we are offering at the moment. So, and then the market we are serving, women, these people, for them, safety is the main issue. So by operating in this industry for more than 27 months and by providing a smooth experience to all our customers and always ensuring the safety, we have built a reputation of being a good brand that take care of their customers. So I think even if someone else comes with the exact same product, with probably the exact same experience and expertise, even then it will take a lot of time for them to gain the trust of the customers and
Okay.
get the market share.
Thank you. Thank you. One last question for me. Can you explain your unit economics? I'm keen to understand your variable and fixed cost element of the P&L.
Okay, so to be honest, our entire variable cost is we add to the cost of the vehicle, and that is $1,500 per month. And when any of our vehicle operates at 56% utilization level throughout the month, we reach break even for the particular vehicle.
Okay, and you don't have any fixed costs, is there? No other fixed costs behind it? So can you just explain to me the unit economics for every $100 that you have? How is it split?
Okay, so right now we are spending around of all our budget, we are spending around 65% on variable cost, and the variable cost includes everything that is included in the revenue that helps us to generate the revenue. For example, starting from phone bills to the salary of the trip manager, of the driver, and everything. So to be honest, even though we are renting the vehicles, because of the relationship that we have with the suppliers, we can actually at any point in time reduce the number of vehicles, and that is the leverage that we have gained by working in this industry for so long. And about the fixed cost is only our salaries, employee salaries, and the money that we spend on technology and our marketing. That's it.
Okay, thank you. That's all from me.
Hello, Mr. Riyasat.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi,
Yeah,
this is Mustafa Soban of Dragon Group.
Okay.
So I have a question regarding the business model. So
Sure.
suppose if I'm using Uber Pool,
Yep.
so suppose when I press for the service, it picks me up, then another person suppose also press for the service, it picks the other person. So let's say 3 person is traveling to a certain destination, 3 of them gets up. So it takes about 15 to 20 minutes just to catch everyone and go to the destination. So suppose your objective is you have to have 11 people in the bus. So my question is the timing. So if it's 11 people, so how long will it how long time will it take to collect all these 11 people and then going to the destination, because a lot of time will be wasted just to pick them up. So could you just explain to me how it will work?
Yeah, sure. So to be honest, all our trips are pre-scheduled, and we have fixed routes with fixed pickup points. In every route, we have around 10 pickup points. So the timings are fixed, predetermined. So it doesn't matter if there are 1 person or 10 person, the vehicle will start on time for sure. So even if, so the challenge that we have is that the fact that we have to, where we have to focus is ensuring that we can make sure that the route that we have or the pickup points that we have can ensure that we can manage around 7 to 8 customers in every trip. That is the main focus that we have, and that is how we manage the entire operation. I mean, if there is just 1 person, the vehicle will start for sure. We cannot wait for 10 other person to join the vehicle to start the trip. So that is how we operate.
A quick question. This is Padmaja from Indian Angel Network.
Sure.
You know, the worry I have in your model is what has already been expressed by others, that the competitive advantage is low, right? That anybody else can come into this business, or there are already models there running which were Uber Pool, etc. So how do you plan to keep ahead of competition? One piece that you did mention was that you are building trust, and that will take a long time for someone else to build, right? But you're right. The problem with trust is it takes a very short time to be broken as well. So what is your plan to stay ahead? I mean, it's a very fragile reason differentiator that you're talking about. Or am I getting something wrong?
No, so, okay. So definitely trust is one thing. And the second thing, I also mentioned that Uber Pool or other pool services actually are completely different services. And they operate differently. For example, they connect people who want to go from the same place to the same destination. So we don't do that. That is one thing. And the second thing is, even Uber Pool is more than, the price of Uber Pool is more than double than of our shuttle, of our fare.
No,
and
but
then
what
the third
if somebody comes with your same model? Forget Uber Pool for a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
So
going to keep you ahead of you? This is an execution play, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we have been in our operations. There is we have in our business model, we are differentiating ourselves by reducing the cost significantly, and we've been able to do this by implementing a lot of things. For example, we are currently operating with both B2B and B2C segment. So there are a lot of leverages that we are getting. I'm actually, since it's a public session, I might not be able to go into details of about everything. But if anyone is interested to know more or know how we are gaining a leverage or cost advantage, we are more than happy to talk after this session. So that is another thing that differentiates us, and also the technology. For example, just to give you an example, the Google Maps that we use, it's actually in Bangladesh, it doesn't still give the exact information, exact data. We still get inaccurate ETA or estimated time for arrivals. So what we're doing is we have data of more than 27 months of our particular service for our particular vehicles. So using this, we are actually calculating our own ETAs and for our own routes. So this is one of the examples how we are using technology to differentiate ourselves to provide an even smoother experience to our customers. And definitely there are other specifics as well, as I mentioned. And I would be really happy to discuss with you or anyone, if anyone is interested, about how we are actually differentiating ourselves and how we are maintaining that competitive advantage over others.
What percentage of your fundraise that you are proposing is going to be utilized for technology?
Around 17%.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, this is Max from the Nest. We've had many questions on the chat box, and a few of them have been around the technology aspect. And some were asking, what is key about your technology? Is it more about routes for the shuttles? Is it more about building trust? Is it more about the user interface for the women who are booking? Can you develop a little bit on that? What is the key differentiating factor in your technology that you want to put forward and invest on?
Okay, so the first thing is the basic usage of technology similar to ride-sharing services, but then I'll just show you a slide of what the four things that we're working on at the moment. The first thing is we are already projecting demand based on data, but we are trying to make it even more accurate and more efficient. So that is something we're working on, using data and projecting demand and designing the most efficient routes for our customers. We get the to be honest, before even we launch a route, we get enough data to know what routes will be useful for us in the next 15 to 16 months. And then we're also using algorithms to transition from a fixed route to dynamic route mechanism. This is something that we're exploring at the moment. We are working on. And then we are working on introducing surge pricing so that we can charge different price at different hours. During off-peak hours, the price will reduce, and then during peak hour, it will increase. So things like that. And then, as I mentioned, we are also working on developing our own maps, customized for our service, so that we can reduce our cost significantly, and also provide more accurate estimated time of arrivals to our users. These are some of the things that we are working at the moment.
Okay, sounds clear. Is there any other questions from the angels, or should we discuss a bit more about the opportunity of investing in Shuttle?
No question from my end. I'm clear. Thank you.
Like I said earlier, the concept is great. It comes from a good place, clearly. I do have certain questions, but again, we can take that offline because that is more, direct to your revenue. Because like you said, at 50 or 50 something percentage, you break even. That can't be the case when you have 1,000 fleet. Also, there has to be something where your profitability is increasing. So I'd like to talk more about route optimization. I'd like to talk about more strategic collaborations and partnerships. I'd like to even discuss the opportunity of exploring AI integration. Maybe we've not touched, or I've not seen anything which talks about an emergency or a safety, something where there's an emergency, maybe the vehicle breaks down, maybe there is an accident, how you sort of managing that. So a lot of factors, but again, slightly different from your core value proposition. So that we can take offline. But thank you.
Sure.
I think it's a great initiative.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll follow up with Joel on going through all these points. David or Padmaja, any feedback on your end?
Sure. Maybe Padmaja, you want to go first, please?
No, go ahead, Javed. I'll join later. I'll go after you. Okay.
So listen, Riyasat, definitely the concept is very interesting. My point is your biggest differentiation that you've been arguing is trust. Trust is not a differentiator. It is something that inherently comes with a brand. And irrespective of what you do, you can't survive in a world without trust, irrespective of Ubers or whatever you talk about. And as Joel was talking about, there has to be something very unique, differentiated. I'm really unclear at this point. So one is that, what is your USP as a brand? Where will you do? And connected to that, your initiative is also in the whole value chain of transportation. I'm unclear where will you decouple, because there's value in the whole system. So you must find a way where you're able to, and I think Joel was mentioning some of the stuff. You are giving something very unique or different in terms of saying that I got stuck somewhere, and within it, Hakka traffic, where you guarantee that I will put you from point A to B, irrespective of what happens, you'll reach there, which means you have other satellite link or something to solve that problem. So for me, I'm really not finding the uniqueness of the initiative. It's a great concept, a concept somebody else can come, and I can clearly see anybody else can come and match it with a lot of investment and fund, but trust can't be a differentiator. So I will take a pass on that initiative, but all the best.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah,
So I just add here, I think some of the points have already been made by Javed and Joel. I think it's a great thought, first of all, to protect women. Being a woman, I understand that. But I think what is very important is what you're trying to provide is security to women, or whoever the passenger is for that matter. And to actually give that confidence, the commuter needs to have that security in his or her mind. Your giving security is not enough, number one. And number two, how do you place that security in the hands of the commuter becomes very, very important. So the reason I asked you about trust, and I think Javed just now just focused on that, trust is very brittle, unfortunately, right, to build a brand. So the only way to build trust is by doing something very tangible in the hands of the consumer. And there, perhaps the focus where you could perhaps build a good differentiator, and I have to confess, I don't know the Bangladesh ecosystem very well, is really to focus on the technology, to build a technology platform which sits on the mobile of the commuter, which is almost giving real-time data on what is happening to that commuter as he or she moves. And then trying and integrating that with different service providers on the road, rather than really going down the way of the execution piece only of providing the vehicles and providing the logistics of it. That was one point I thought you could look at it perhaps differently to the proposition that you are proposing to give your customers. The second piece, which was a little bit in the passing because your pitch was also 5 minutes to be fair, was the fact that you were talking about owning the vehicles going forward or doing electric vehicles. My friend, I've looked at this space, I've invested. I would just tell you one small thing. Please rethink owning vehicles. It's a very different ball game. It's a very different capex issue. It's a very different business. And electric vehicles, it isn't funny how difficult it is. Today in India, we have 700 companies in e-vehicles. My bet is 3 will survive. So e-vehicles is not easy at all. So while that is in the future, I would just share this with you purely because we are on the same call. Don't know when I'll meet you, but just to share that. So those are my points.
Thank you. Can I share some of the few things about the things that you mentioned?
Okay, one last word. Yeah.
It's up to the coordinator according to the timelines and schedules.
Yeah, we can leave you a last word, and then we'll have to close for this pitch.
Okay, so to ensure the safety, actually, we are already we have our operation team has a dashboard centrally that monitors all the vehicles and their routes continuously. And whenever a vehicle goes out of the route, we instantly get notifications and we instantly contact the drivers and the trip managers. And also our customers can immediately, whenever they want, they can share the location with their relatives and friends, and also they can call us anytime they want because our hotline is always open. So that is something that we have already done, and we are also exploring a few other things regarding the safety issue. And about the owning vehicles, actually that is an option. I mean, we are exploring 4 or 5 options. We are trying to find the perfect mix. Probably we will explore with different type of options just to see which works the best, and then probably we will have a hybrid model with different type of mechanisms. And about the differentiation, to be honest, safety is something that I mentioned, but then our cost is significantly lower than others. And as I mentioned, it's not possible to sustainably keep the cost this low for any other company if there are not some other things that is helping us to reduce the cost. So these are some of the things that I would definitely love to talk to you more about how we are making sure that the cost is so low that others cannot just compete with us. Others cannot run profitably with such a low price. So that is another thing that I would love to discuss with you in a private session if there's an opportunity.
Okay, Joel, please continue.
Just one little question. Earlier, I think when you were asked, you said about 70% of the raise is focused on technology. Just small curiosity, how are you managing customer care? Is that in-house? Is that something you're going to invest in? Are you outsourcing customer care? I mean, emergency is great to have a hotline. You can have a bot integrated, I'm sure. But I'm saying if somebody just calls to say, you know, my pickup is late, or there's a traffic jam, and can you give me an alternative or something? Just a small problem. Is there a customer care service that you have, or is that going to be outsourced?
No, so our service is completely in-house at the moment, because the queries that we get are actually very unique, and there is not a company that has dealt with similar queries before in Bangladesh. So we kept it in-house, and we have a team of around 12 people working in the customer service team. So they are definitely contractual employees, but they're in-house. They work in our office at the moment. In the future, probably if we are big, and probably if we can train other companies, we probably might be okay to outsource it. But at the moment, no. At the moment, it's completely in-house. The entire team is in-house.
Wow. So you've got the customer care team, you founder salary, marketing, everything else in the 30%. I think there might be a slight difference in that split. But again, let's get on to that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Shuttle, for this speech. I think it's a great idea. Everyone on the panel in the audience agreed that solving the issue of trust and security for a female commuter is needed. We felt there's a strong interest from Joel in keeping the conversation on specific details and the technology. From Zaved and Padmaja, it feels like some of the points of the value proposition were not clear yet. We will follow on with Joel and with anyone in the audience who is interested in investing or working with you guys. Thank you so much for participating today.
Thank you so much.
Now we have to move to our next company, which is bhalo. bhalo will build platforms, digital platforms for smallholder farmers. Subrata, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Subrata Kumar, and I'm founder and CEO of Bhalo Social Enterprises. I have a background in working in the development sector for over a decade, and where I have collaborated with the private sector in terms of finding solutions for smallholder farmers. And after that, I decided to start this venture together with my colleagues. And we did that last year. So Bhalo stands for good in Bangla. So agriculture in Bangladesh faces a number of challenges, including population growth, climate change, shrinking land, low productivity, and lack of efficiency. And the reason being, more than 80% of the farmers are smallholders, and there are 13 million of them. Considering a $800 annual spend on inputs and services like seeds, fertilizers, medicine, etc., this represents a market opportunity of $10 billion. So what's the problem? So the smallholder farmers are not able to increase their profitability because they cannot access good quality raw materials, the inputs. Because of low awareness, they don't know what to use, how to use. The inputs are not available, the quality inputs are not available, and they have lack of access to credit for which they cannot buy best quality inputs. On the other side, the leading input suppliers are not able to penetrate this segment because higher cost and credit risks. The intermediaries in between, the distributors and retailers, they have lack of capacity, incentive, and access to capital, and they are not catering to this segment. So this is where we come in with technology and exclusive last mile agents. So Bhalo connects the small leading input suppliers to smallholder farmers with proprietary technology that is under construction and with exclusive last mile agents. So essentially what we offer by working with number of leading input suppliers, we offer farmers a curated bundle of quality inputs plus advisory services throughout the production cycle and credit facility. So the way it works, so we have a front-end application, we're building a front-end application and a back-end web platform which we are going to use for customer acquisition, credit risk assessment by using machine learning, sales of the inputs, input and service delivery, impact measurement, and cash and credit collection. So the backend function takes care of credit risk management, supply chain management, and credit management. We are the first and the only venture in Bangladesh to combine inputs, advisory, and credit. So there are examples in India, AgroStar, who is providing inputs and advisory, but not credit. There is an example in Kenya, Apollo Agriculture, who are offering input bundles on credit like us, but they don't offer advisory services. There is Syngenta, who runs exclusive retail outlets in Bangladesh, but they only sell inputs on cash, no advisory services. There is a new startup in Bangladesh called iFarmer, who has started with a financing piece, and they provide finance plus. But our game is basically on the inputs, advisory, and credit, managing the entire supply chain, and gradually also get into the finance and the buyback piece. So this is what our partners and our customers say. Between January to June, we have witnessed 5x growth in markets where bhalo operates. Bhalo is serving customers where our company cannot reach. And our customers really appreciate that now they can buy products from bhalo and pay as per their convenience. And they are using new product, they're using new practices, and they're also getting a higher return from things like bull fattening. So quick look at our key metrics. From our 1 year operation, we have witnessed $120 of average order value. This came from bull fattening. We are designing new product for dairy, crops, and etc. We have a 15% gross margin, which comes from sales of the inputs, and also we charge a small fee for advisory services. We negotiate with the companies and charge a MRP to the farm. Our customer acquisition cost is in the range of $5. We have a good customer retention rate and $180 of customer lifetime value. We started April 2019 when basically before that, me and my partner, we quit our job and we started our cushy job and we started this venture. We launched a pilot with 200 livestock farmers and we saw a very good product market fit and a very good credit recovery, 98%. And we decided to expand our footprint and increase the number of agents that we work with. Till date, we have served 800 customers, not too much. And we have generated a revenue of $134,000. We have partnered with Empower for building our tech and we're now raising capital. Our target is to, for the fundraising is to take us to the next stop, which is basically $1.1 million revenue and break even the operation. And from then onwards, we'll raise further and go to our next stop, which is $8.2 billion revenue. So me and Shushanto, we have been colleagues for 7-8 years now. And altogether, we have experience of like 25 years in the agriculture and financial service industry. We have worked with all the market leaders like ACI, Godrej, Renata, and all. And we're leveraging that relationship with these companies who are market leaders. And we are expanding our partnership base very fast. And we have the privilege of having Mridul Chaudhary join us as a chairperson and also as a tech partner who has 20 years of experience in technology business and building agriculture technology solutions. We are asking for $150,000 and we're going to use that $50,000 for tech development, $25,000 for marketing, and the rest of the money for inventories. Because at the moment we are buying product on cash from the companies and we are giving it on credit for the production cycle to the farmers. We believe that once we reach around 5,000 customers and break even our operation, we'll be able to kind of get credit from the companies, or we'll be able to get financing from banks to purchase for the purchase of the inputs. So quick summary, we have reached 800 customers, 134,000 revenue, $10,000 on an average revenue per month, but agriculture is very seasonal. Margin on variable cost like 17%, churn rate of 20%. We have been so far bootstrapping and self-funding ourselves. So we have put together altogether a capital of $82,000 from our own funding and also from as a debt capital from friends and family.
Sorry,
our monthly cash run.
Yeah, time is up. Yeah. Sorry, I had to cut you off.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much, Wata, for the presentation. I think now we can get a bit more into the details with questions from the angels. Anyone wants to start? Joel, Zaved, Panmaja?
Yeah, quick question. How do you acquire the farmers? How do you retain?
Yeah, so we have the on-ground agents. So agents visit farmers door to door to sell the product, to provide services, and also to collect cash. So at the moment, we are acquiring customers directly through agents, but in future, we'll have call center capability and we'll be selling through call centers and do the primary screening through call centers. And then they will be directed to the agents.
So these farmers who you're acquiring through agents, so it's really going around the villages and connecting with them.
Right.
How do they get connected into the technology? What do they do? I haven't understood.
Yeah, so the technology capacity that the application that we are developing will be used by the agents, not by the farmer. So it will be more of an assisted e-commerce type of model where the agents will be using the application, selling something to the farmer, providing services to the farmer, and then he'll also be helping the farmer to buy something on the through this technology platform. We are planning to have a call center like application, so where the number will be kind of promoted in the area. Farmers can give a missed call, just like AgroStar. And then our representatives will call the farmer and pitch for our solutions, and then they will guide him to the next nearby agent. So that's the plan. So in that way, we want to reduce.
Intermediary really doesn't go away.
We cannot replace the intermediaries because we need someone to have sell the product, provide the service, and also collect the cash. So we are cutting down the intermediaries from 2 levels. So between company and us. So we have the technology, we are with the company, and then we have the agents, because we cannot completely replace human element in these transactions.
And are you picking up any data and are you sort of packaging the data and doing some analytics for your larger enterprise connects?
At the moment, Padmaja, we have first wanted to see the product market fit, and we started manually last year, and we have been in discussion with Empower now. We are starting the tech piece now, and so far the data that we've collected, it is all on the Google Sheet. So we have the customer information, how much of sales, how much of impact, so all those information in the Google Sheet. But we want to analyze these things in real time and improve our efficiency by using technology. And we expect to have this on ground by end of October.
Okay.
If I can very quickly add, this is Midul Chaudhary, chairman of bhalo. So if I can very quickly respond to that question. So we are also tapping into the databases of NGOs, I mean MFIs, who have been operating in Bangladesh for many years. And they also want to reach out to different customer bases or with new loans. So there's a win-win kind of a proposition, and then that partnership with different MFIs are also in place.
Sure, understand. Okay. If you wish, I'm happy to connect offline. I am involved in the agri business here, doing something similar and more. So happy to share it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, that's the first deal, huh? At least the introduction.
Yeah, that's right.
And who wants to continue? Zaved or Joel?
Okay, I'll go ahead then.
Okay.
So very interesting. Can you tell me, did you start as a P2P company and now you're trying to pivot into full solution agri venture?
No way, because we didn't start. We never provide financing to the farmer directly, because we believe that if we provide financing, then there will be cases of misutilization. And since we come from an impact background, so we have this understanding of what farmers does with money. So that is why we are basically giving them a credit line of, let's say, 10,000 taka or $120, and they can only buy products, and these products are only coming from the best companies. We are dealing with the best companies, giving them in kind instead of giving them the cash.
Understood. So they get in kind. The credit line is in terms of kind. Okay, clear.
Right.
Tell me. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, we have partnered with. We are doing a pilot with BRAC Microfinance, where they will be kind of providing the finance, the cash finance, and we'll be taking care of the inputs and the services and all that, so that we can reduce the risk of BRAC's financing. So that is a model that we are working with BRAC.
Understood. And did you mention gross margin to be 15%? Is that what you mentioned?
Yes, right.
Okay, so your full operation gross margin is 15%.
Right, and this is likely to increase as we move into new categories like crops, where we have higher margins.
Okay, and tell me one thing. So you've identified the 4 levers required for any of the agriculture smallholder farmer intervention. Now, one of the critical challenges with inputs is actually their application of input, because the farmers actually don't use it properly. How are you addressing that?
So that is why we have the agents on the ground. So they basically schedule weekly visits. So right now we have done it with bull fattening, where we have scheduled weekly visits to help them administer or use the product. So that is why we think that we cannot completely eliminate the human element from this, but we want to optimize the efficiency of these agents operating on the ground, so that they can do better route planning. They know which customers to go to, and then if you have the impact data, they are also collecting impact data. Okay, let's say how much your cattle is growing on a per day basis, so they can then prioritize which customers to visit.
Understood. And tell me, so what is the value, let's say, bhalo will have in the whole value chain? Because you are actually adding, as Padmaja said, more people in that whole value chain. How are you going to decouple it?
Yeah, so our key value proposition, first of all, is for the customer who is getting access to using better quality inputs, getting the advisory services and also credit, and they're getting a higher return. So we have seen that. We've seen that happening, and that's why we have a very good retention rate. There are some concerns from some farmers, the price sensitive ones. They want us to reduce the price further, and we need to be more competitive for that. And we'll do that once we reach the higher number of farmers and we negotiate a better deal with the companies. On the other side, we are adding a lot of value for market leaders who are not able to penetrate this market. You have seen the numbers that we're very small. We have only served 800 farmers. We've given them a 5x growth in the markets because they are not able to push this product because the retailers are not lifting these products. So these are the biggest value proposition. We are also working with the retailers in between as a point of delivery. We are also trying to work with the local service providers like who provides machinery rental and all that. So we want to gradually bring them on board and kind of offer a one-stop kind of a solution for the farmer. So our goal is to basically, we want to take the maximum portion of the $800 and we want to give them the maximum value to the customers. And these $800 can become $1,500 tomorrow, because if a farmer is raising 2 cattle or they are cultivating more land, this amount can go higher.
Understood. So tell me, can you explain to me that, because you've done cow fattening and use that as an example, how has that benefited that farmer? What incremental value have they received out of it?
So typically the farmer's practice is to rear the cow for a long time. So they don't know what ration to use and all that. So they usually in Bangladesh, we have Eid, Eid. So after Kurbani, they buy a cattle and they rear it for 10 months or so. And they make like 12,000 to 15,000. And they don't do the calculation, how much they're actually spending, how much they're getting out of it. So they don't keep records of that. So we have proposed together with the companies, we have designed a bundle that will give them the same value within 4 months. So with ACI, Godrej and Renata, we are replacing traditional feed items and giving them, okay, you will spend a little more, you still get 15,000 taka in 4 months. So that's the value proposition we're offering. And we have seen that to be true in most of the cases. There are cases because it depends on so many other factors and we have to improve that. And we are confident that we can make maximum case farmers benefit.
Understood. So you're rolling over the money faster. Clear. And do you also provide, sorry.
Yes, sorry. This is Midul again. Again, a very, very brief response to that. So essentially, I mean, as Shubhrata was saying, the farmers are not able to have the kind of productivity because of 2 big reasons. One is lack of timely service, because a lot of the service, meaning, healthcare service, because a lot of the times their healthcare service is very reactive. When a cattle gets sick, they call on somebody and they don't really come on time. So, I mean, even if they lose, a week productivity, a week of not have enough growth, then that can have a big impact. The other is lack of proper inputs. They are not able to buy the kind of inputs that they would actually need for proper productivity because they don't have cash in hand, because they often have to buy suboptimal quality products in small amounts. So those are the 2 big areas why they're not able to have enough productivity. And that is exactly the problem that bhalo is trying to solve. Thank you.
Understood. Absolutely. So let me sort of, I'll just give one advice and then my point of view on this one. One advice essentially is, while you're doing all this farming activity, the value that needs to get unlocked, I'll tell you, in farming is the middlemen. You need to disintermediate the middleman out of this whole system. And unless you do it, you will not be able to create value for the producer and for the consumer. And the value unlock, and I'll give an example of vegetables. The average per ton vegetable at source is actually something in the vicinity of 18 to 22,000 taka, give and take, a few thousand here and there. That average vegetable in Dhaka market sells is 50,000 taka. So you understand there is zero value that gets added from the farmer till it comes to the consumer. So there's at least 30,000 taka per ton, which is the unlock that is available. And this is an example of a vegetable I'm giving you. So I'm sure, I have no idea about cow rearing, but I'm sure equally it happens. So the answer to this would obviously be, if you're able to generate more value for the farmer to start with, and you're able to really also generate more value for the consumer, finally the person who's buying it.
Right.
When that unlock happens in this whole value chain, which basically means you need to disintermediate this whole value chain, and that's where the answer lies. So very good stuff. Good stuff. I would be keen to also offline connect on this.
Thank you very much. Sir, just quick update that we are also working with on vegetables with a leading player, and we are going to soon start this from Joshua area.
Okay, great.
So livestock was just a start. So now we're moving to rice and also vegetable, gradually corn. So it is a multi-brand, multi-vertical thing. Yeah.
Great. No questions. You've covered pretty much everything really well. I think you guys know what you're doing. I'm working with a company that has solutions in the agri-tech space, very close to what you guys are doing on blockchain and AI. I would like to speak to you guys about it again, post the call if possible. And I'd like to discuss further about your valuation as well. So happy to connect offline also.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Just as you know, Padmaja had to drop off, as he said at the beginning, but we will keep in touch. She will keep in touch with bhalo as she offered. So a few questions from the audience. Which one? About the technology. Would you be able to precise what is defensible about your technology? You talked about some examples from Kenya, from in other countries doing similar things. What is making you different, or what is your competitive advantage, if technology is one that differentiates from other potential competitors, or for anyone starting the same business in your country?
So first of all, I think our biggest differentiation is the experience that we have in the industry, the contacts that we have, and the deep understanding of the farmer's need that we have, that we want to fulfill. So that, I think we would call that is the biggest differentiation that we have at this point in time. The technology piece, we are looking into the examples in India and also Kenya, that in which of the areas you can use technology. So there are lots of examples in India like Ninja Cart, Dehat and AgroStar, who have used technology to solve different parts of the problem. So for example, at the moment we are doing credit risk assessment. So for example, when we are allowing somebody a credit limit of 10,000 taka or 20,000 taka, so on the ground, the agent is at the moment doing it manually. So we want to automate that. And in order to automate that, we need to generate a kind of a credit risk scoring system. We need to generate an algorithm that can take in some data, and we can use machine learning to continuously improve that information. So that is one. The second thing is that the supply chain management, because agriculture is very seasonal, and we need to be very accurate in terms of planning our supplies and also the distribution of the product. So that is where we also see scope for machine learning to be incorporated. So these are some of the areas where we're working. We are talking to the startups in India and also in Kenya. We're trying to reach out to them, trying to understand how they're using technology. And there are so many areas that you can intervene with technology. The reason we got in touch with Empower is also because they have already tried out, tested out some of the technology to kind of offer services, precision agriculture and all that. So we want to leverage all of that.
Right. If I can add very briefly to what Subrata said. I mean, one thing is that, I mean, if you really look at MFIs, I mean, Bangladesh is possibly the country with the highest number of MFIs per capita. So the MFIs actually have a lot of information about farmers, directly or indirectly. But what they don't have information about is the behavior of farmers with respect to, you know, how effectively they're using money, or their discipline with money, the discipline with management practices and so on. So that is not the kind of data MFIs have. So that is why MFIs are really able to and tap into this market, despite the fact that they actually have lots of basic data. So what bhalo is essentially generating is data regarding farmers that are very specific, that are very business centric, that can be leveraged to develop different kinds of credit worthiness, you know, understanding, you know, who is eligible for what kind of loans, for what kind of financial support and so on. So that's one use of technology. The other use of technology is essentially monitoring these farmers on a continual basis. So these agents that we work with, they actually visit the farmers on a regular basis, thereby again generating data. And as I was saying earlier, that the practice generally is that once a cattle falls sick, you ask for services, and then a service provider or a livestock service provider or a paravet, you know, comes to their household, often with some delay. What we're essentially trying to do is kind of turn that completely around. And with the use of technology, we're trying to prevent cattle from falling sick, because we are continuously tracking, you know, how they're growing, and then we're going to do the same thing with vegetables. So there again, I mean, we're using technology to kind of overturn a very reactive process of asking for service to a proactive one, thereby even decreasing the cost that they incur because of services. So I mean, I think I would say that those are the two main areas of technology which we would be very key going forward for us.
Okay. Okay, sounds great. So, except if Zaved or Joel have anything to add, otherwise, I have the impression that we've kind of had feedback from everyone. So, to close on this one, Padmaja mentioned that access to farmer is key in rolling out this kind of business model, and she offered to help you on that. So we'll connect you with Padmaja after the show so that you can continue the conversation. Joel mentioned that he could also do for you some valuable introduction, maybe also regarding the technology, which was you just mentioned. On Zaved, I understand there's a key point of the business model that's around about cutting the middleman. That needs to be maybe worked on a little bit to make the business sustainability and value proposition more attractive. Anyhow, we'll put you in touch with all the angels and with all the people in the audience who's offered you for services. And I think the problem you are solving is key. The expertise you have in the sector is also key. So we have no doubt you will end up succeeding. And if we can bring as Untapped Kenya, which is my principal occupation, feedback from the companies in East Africa, feel free to ask. We'll be more than welcome to more than happy to help. So thank you, Bhalo, for pitching today. I think I'll pass now to Jim and Nijor to maybe close the session.
Sounds great. Thank you, Maxime, for jumping in due to my lost connection. I hope everyone can hear me now. I think I resolved the issues, but I caught a little bit of both presentations. I think they were both great presentations. And on a personal level, I'd like to find out a little bit more about your technology platform, Bhalo, as well. So I think myself and my team would be in touch to understand a little bit more. And as you know, we at Untapped have invested in another company in Bangladesh, and so we would be interested in potentially looking at additional investments. So let's stay in touch there, and we can go from there. But with that note, I'd like to make a couple of quick announcements, mostly around the future nests coming up. So this week we have Bangladesh, and next week we have a Nest session with female entrepreneurs from sub-Saharan Africa. So please join us next week at 9 a.m. San Francisco time, 5 p.m. London time, and 7 p.m. Nairobi time. And the week after that, we will be partnering with 1,000 Alternatives, also at 9 a.m. San Francisco time, to look at East Africa and some incredible companies in East Africa. And then on August 6th, we'll be partnering with IntelliCap for some additional companies, once again at the same time, 9 a.m. San Francisco time. So thank you for attending the session, and I just want to turn it back over to Nijor for any final words before we end.
No problem. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you so much, Joel, Zaved Bhai, Padmaja, as well as to the companies. I know we put a lot on you this week, so we really appreciate it, as well as to the audience for joining. I guess from our side, I see a lot of our members within this audience here. I'm also seeing within the links that a lot of our members are looking at the companies, and so we'll be following up, and hopefully we can make some deals happen in addition to the ones that were talked about today. But thank you all for joining. You know, we'd love to make this a regular thing, and you know, Bangladesh always needs more advocates. So thanks a lot for being part of this.
Thank you, everybody, for being on the show, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.